Studio. Our hope is that this will work, that the connection is solid, as we are setting out a visit with Lori Jackson, who is joining us from Western Ukraine. She is a missionary there and has someone with her as well. And Lori, I cannot thank you enough for a little bit of your time this morning. It is good to see you safe. Give us an update. And by the way, for those listeners who are hearing from Lori for the very first time, you can go back and you can listen to Coast View with Ricky Matthews. He's been able to do a couple of more in-depth interviews with Lori as she's kind of talked about her situation right now. First of all, Lori, are you safe as you join us from Ukraine this morning?
Yes, we are in far western Ukraine in the Carpathian Mountains, and we're safe here for now. Mm-hmm.
That certainly is outstanding news. Would you please introduce who you've got with you as well this morning?
Sure. Anytime anyone asks me to do an interview, it's kind of intimidating, and I definitely am not in this alone. So this is my friend Sasha, who is here with us. Mm-hmm.
Sasha, thanks for joining us this morning as well. Lori, if we could start, because I want people all across the state of Mississippi to understand who you are and why you're there. If you could give us maybe a 1-minute version of your story, almost an elevator pitch of why it is that you are in Ukraine, and then we'll kind of get into some of the things that are happening right now.
I'm a missionary. I came over to Ukraine in 2004 to work at a camp and conference organization. I was here for 3 months. I came back in 2005, also to work with the same organization for 3 months. And about halfway through the summer, the director said, "How would you feel about staying and working with us full time?" And I said, "Sure." And so I've been here since 2005. I was living in Kyiv for several years, then moved to the Far East in Lugansk and was there until 2014 when the war started. And then ended up with several of my friends from Lugansk in Kyiv. And were there until recently when Kyiv was attacked a couple weeks ago.
Lori, one of the things that is so fascinating to me as we from, thousands of miles away watch this awful situation that has developed and continues to unfold in Ukraine is the spirit that I think I see from the Ukrainian people. And it's not just because they're willing to stand and fight for their country, but we're seeing these stories of neighbors helping neighbors, of friends helping friends, of friends helping strangers. And in some ways, it reminds me of Mississippians. And I feel like in the way that they help each other in times of need, or maybe in a broader sense, Southerners who kind of come together in times of need. Can you take me a little deeper on that and what it is that we're seeing, whether that's true or that's myth about the Ukrainian people?
What you're seeing is definitely true. And it is true of Ukrainians, not just in crisis situations. It is true of their heart and their lives. And a good friend and I were talking the other day, and what we're watching, what you're watching, is what anyone who has visited Ukraine or has spent time with Ukrainian people knows to be true. It's just who they are.
Lori Jackson is a missionary to Western Ukraine. She's been in the country on and off since 2004. And Sasha, if it's okay for me to ask you a question as well, what's the balance right now between fear and hope?
Я на русском буду говорить, а ты переведешь.
Mm-hmm.
Я на русском буду говорить.
Sasha's going to speak in Russian, I'll interpret. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
И наша страна, она сейчас под ударом России.
Our country is under attack from Russia right now.
И мы боремся каждый день.
And we're fighting every day.
И для нас есть большим примером наш президент.
And for us, our president is a huge example.
И наша армия для нас есть большим примером и надеждой.
And our army is a huge example and is also hope.
Наша страна очень маленькая по сравнению с большой Россией.
Our country is small in comparison with big Russia.
И такое ощущение, что большой медведь нападает на что-то маленькое.
And it feels like this giant bear is attacking something very small.
И кажется, что это что-то маленькое, оно обречено на смерть.
And this something very small looks like it's going to die.
Но уже 23-й день войны идет,
but it's the 23rd day of the war,
и кажется, что это что-то маленькое, оно побеждает большого медведя.
and we think that this something small is going to defeat this big bear.
И страх потихоньку уходит, и появляется большая надежда.
And the fear is beginning to wane, and we have great hope.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you for that. You mentioned President Zelenskyy just a moment ago. My wife and I were having a conversation about this, and she was not being flippant when she said this. She said, I think every woman in the world right now has a crush on the Ukrainian President Zelenskyy, because of this bravery that he's shown, because he has stood not as a politician but as a Ukrainian who's trying to fight back and push back. What is the feeling about President Zelenskyy in Ukraine, among the Ukrainian people? Is he the inspiration that the rest of the world is seeing?
Можешь перевести? Я профессиональный фотограф,
I'm a professional photographer,
и я долго работал на двух самых больших телевизионных каналах в Украине.
and I worked for the 2 largest television companies in Ukraine.
И было время, когда я очень много работал с Зеленским.
And there was a time when I actually worked a lot with Zelenskyy
Тогда,
Oh,
когда
really?
он еще не был
Okay.
президентом,
before he was president,
он был TV-стар.
when he was a TV star.
И еще в то время я понял об этом человеке, что он не такой, как все предыдущие президенты, которые были в Украине, и он необычный человек. У него есть мораль, у него есть...
And even during that time, like, I knew that he wasn't going to be just another president like the ones we've had before, but that he has good morals.
И он больше заботится о других и о тех людях, которые работали вместе с ним, или на него, или возле него.
And that he cares about other people, and that he took care of the people who were working around him or for him.
И когда он стал президентом, я думаю, все эти качества переложились на нашу страну, и это хорошо.
And when he became president, I feel like he brought all of these morals into our country, and I think it worked out well.
There's no question that it has worked out well, and his leadership has been an example for the world over to watch. Just a couple of more minutes with Lori Jackson, who is a missionary to Ukraine. She is safe currently in Western Ukraine, and her friend Sasha has been kind to share some time with us this morning as well. Lori, when you look at the map that exists out there, and it shows the places from which Russia is invading, Ukraine is a large country, but not large in comparison to Russia. There are large areas that are still fortified, but there are also strategic areas where Russia is closing in. What does the next week look like? What do the next couple of weeks look like? Sasha mentioned just a moment ago, 23 days in, here we are still standing, and we're braver, and we have less fear than we did 3 weeks ago. Is it just unknown right now? Is that the overwhelming feeling, Lori?
Absolutely. To ask like what our feelings are for what the next day will bring, we definitely don't. I don't know. I don't think Sasha has feelings or understanding of what comes next. Like he mentioned, we definitely have hope. We see and are proud of the people who are defending us. And even like you were talking about the other just people who are helping each other through this difficult time, and as devastating as things are. And we definitely understand that things could continue to be very devastating for a very long time. And even if the war ends today, there's still so much rebuilding to be done. But hope exists.
Lori, at an incredibly basic level, how are you surviving day to day in terms of groceries and the other necessities to get by? Because I think about if we have a snowstorm in Mississippi where it doesn't snow very often, all of the shelves in the grocery store are cleared out. People go absolutely crazy. You can't find toilet paper. You can't find bread. You can't find milk. You're 3 weeks into an attack from a neighboring company that's a global superpower. How are you guys rationing? How are you surviving day to day?
Ukrainians are not the panickers that Americans are. And when COVID started and everyone was in the States was rushing to the store to get water and toilet paper, my Ukrainian friends are saying, why do they need water and toilet paper? And so part of it is just not this rush to panic. But where we are in Western Ukraine, we still have things in the store. There are things that there are less of and are less available. We are blessed to be on several borders of European countries and to be able to get things in. Places where Russia has attacked are not under that same luxury. And so one of the things that we are doing here is trying to collect food and get it to our friends and family.
To share with others. Thank you so much for visiting with us this morning, for sharing where we are. We're thankful for your safety, and we will pray for your continued safety. Lori, Sasha, have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.